Yo, what up, homies? Yo, tonight we got one of the dopest episodes of Talks Hit. It is an honor to have a legend in the room, man. I don't like, there's so many things, like, list of things that I want to say. Like, this man is packed with accolades. And if you don't know him and you're watching this right now, the treat you're going to have,
Yes.
to get to know him now. Yo, I present to you, les presentamos, Jacob Stitch Duran is in the house, man. Let's go. Give it up for the
Fuck
man.
yeah.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Stitch? How's it going, my brother?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on finally, huh?
Yeah, no. Thank you for being on. Don't worry about it. Like everything's cool. Like this is just a dream come true, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to kiss your ass too much, but you'll know
Nah,
here in a bit. You know.
don't worry about it. Yeah, you
Yeah.
were asking questions. Yeah, ask any questions, man. I got answers, bro.
All
Hey,
right. Hell yeah,
after
man.
everything he's done, man, you could kiss his ass all you want, man.
Yeah,
Because
I mean,
Charlie,
yo,
hey,
I'm
Charlie,
I'm
bro.
so
Hey,
happy.
no. Two guys I don't like is assholes and kiss asses because they're fake.
that's
So be
right. Yeah.
yourself, man.
No, definitely, man. Of course. First of all, like I've really followed your career, like you know what I mean, for a long time. So I know, but just for the listeners, could like in short, could you kind of say like where you from and how you kind of got into or combat sports?
Yeah. I grew up in the Central Valley of Califas. A little, actually, I grew up as a farm worker, but I
Oh,
was born and raised in Hadley's Camp, CPC number 12. And then in the second grade, I moved to Planada, a little town about 5 miles from the camp, and about 1,500 people, puro farm workers. And,
órale.
baseball was always my game. And, I walked on to a college, Merced College, and didn't have a car. So I would stay after practice and then have to hitchhike home. And so I didn't know about grants and scholarship. And I was, naive. So I joined the Air Force in 1972. And I always said if I went to the Orient, I'd want to study the martial arts. That was
Oh,
during the Bruce Lee era.
all right.
Sent me to Thailand, bro. I didn't even know what Thailand was, man. The guys look like you. And, but they could throw patadas, man,
Yeah.
And
Simón.
I saw my first Muay Thai fight, and on the base we took Taekwondo and then converted into Muay Thai and got
Oh,
back to the States and got into boxing to learn and started training amateur fighters and opened up a school of kickboxing with just a credit card. Show you how
oh,
crazy it was. And came out okay. I was a trainer and I promoted fights and I learned to be a cut man and that kind of floated to the top. So I made the move to Vegas 30 years ago, bro. Packed up my
damn.
family and came. You know,
Damn, that's crazy. That's
yeah.
you know when I first heard about you going to Thailand and the kickboxing, I always thought for some reason that you were in boxing first, then you learned like about UFC and it's all reversed. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, no, Muay Thai, bro. I didn't martial arts was brand new in the
Right.
States. Kickboxing was almost non-existent. It was Taekwondo and Kung
Hmm.
Fu and all that. And these guys are throwing patadas. And I said, oh yeah, I like that, man. Elbows. And
Hmm.
so yeah, that whole year I just dedicated my life to it, and to this day, it's carried me up to here.
You
Fucking
know, you
amazing.
know what's crazy? We grew up watching a lot of martial arts films from kids, like 4 years old all the way up, and Van Damme was one of our favorite dudes to watch. Like, still a big fan of Van Damme.
Oh, 100%.
The older we got, like, we started seeing like mixed martial arts or NHB back in the day and all that, right? And I never, as a kid, I never knew that Van Damme had a fighting style. And then when I started seeing like real fighters fight for real, then I realized I was like, holy shit, man, I love Muay Thai. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Because I would drift towards the people that hit with knees and elbows and things like that. Of course, as a kid, you're not saying like, oh, this is a style called Muay Thai from Thailand where they use elbows, knees. But
yeah,
I started watching real fights and I was like, wait a minute, I love Muay Thai. You
yeah,
know, for me, one of the ones that use Muay Thai the best, because Muay Thai is my favorite, is got to be Vanderlei Silva. I'm a massive Vanderlei fan. Like, that's my dude. That's my hero. So it was dope to like finally get to see Muay Thai at that level, and not even in like not even in like the cage. I'm talking like even in the ring, with K1 and everything going around. So yeah, that was crazy to notice that Muay Thai, like, turns out I love Muay Thai. And with K1, was there anyone you worked with in K1 at the time?
Yeah.
yeah. Did them all, man.
Did
I
you?
Yeah, you know, Scott Coker in the States, he was a promoter for K1. And every
Hmm.
time he did his shows, and of course, you know, he would call me. And when I had my school of kickboxing, you're talking about Van Damme. Then you remember the movie Kickboxer?
Yeah, of
Hell
course.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, of course. That was the movie that made Van Damme. Well, his brother, the one that was in the wheelchair,
Yeah,
because Tom
yeah.
Hall, you know, crippled him. That's Dennis Alexio. Dennis Alexio was
A
the heavyweight
killer.
champion of the world, light heavyweight, baddest athlete I ever met in my life, and I worked with him for many years. And so that's how everything started, is through that, you know. And then Muay Thai. But yeah, I did the K1s in Japan. You know, I've done the K1s here and work with a lot of the guys, bro. You know, so tomorrow I'm going to Miami. I'm doing with Dirty Boxing. I think
Okay.
Mike Perry's promotion,
Hmm.
and Joel Romero, Arlen Arlovsky are going to be there, and I've worked with them before. So
Right.
yeah, it's like a big reunion. So I've done them all, bro. I've
Wow.
done them all.
That
Yo,
is
like with the people that I know that you've worked with, right? And now you're telling me, because I don't know his real name, you know what I mean? What was it in kickboxer Eric, right?
Stone,
You're
Alexio.
telling me you wrapped his hands too?
Dennis Alexio,
Yes.
I used to be his coach. I was his coach.
Wow, that's
I was
so
one
Bro,
of the
crazy.
coaches.
how does
Yeah.
he have a connection to kickboxer? Like,
I
that
know, crazy, bro.
Yeah,
wow.
I don't know how that happened, you know. But yeah, Dennis is I used to do pads for him. You know, what happened is I'd come back from Thailand and I was like in top shape, and I lived in Oakland, and then I moved to Fairfield, the suburb, and that's where I opened my school of kickboxing. But we used to train at the YMCA, big old Tonset hut, and I used to go to the gym and I'd be kicking the bag and bam and bam, and Dennis Alexa would be at the other side of the gym, and shit, he came up to me and he started talking to me, and where'd you study at? And I said, I was in Thailand. Shit, that's how, you know, we came to working. El Lagardo used to be the hands for boxing, and I would do the legs and elbows and knees, you know.
Holy
So
shit, man.
and then I had a lot of great, other than that, I had additional great fighters during that era, you
Hmm.
know. And yeah, Scott Coker, Javier Mendez, all these guys. I was in that circle, you
Oh,
know.
Javier Mendez too, huh?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. That's fucking that's amazing, man.
Yeah.
Amazing shit right there. And then well, of course, if we could jump into boxing real quick, you know what I'm saying? Like, was it hard to get into boxing? Like, just because how in the in the 80s and whatever, even 70s, 80s, 90s, boxing was just humongous. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, was it hard to get into that or like as a cut man?
Bro, to this day, I've never asked for one job. You know,
Wow.
what happened, how this whole circle started is, well, in Oakland, I trained amateur boxers. You know, I had the first Golden Glove gym, champions out of King's Gym and all that.
Right.
But when I moved to the Fairfield, uh, Tony the Tiger Lopez from Sacramento was a former world champion. Actually, that was my first world title fight. He
Oh
fought
shit.
Julio Cesar Chavez in Monterrey, Mexico.
Our
But
boy.
how that come to be is he came to my gym. Well, actually, I went to his gym in Sacramento and I wrapped his hands. And he's working on the speed bag. But pop, the bag pops. And he says, "Man, I'll see you in Mexico." You know, so
Oh,
that's how everything started. And you know, I worked with Ray Lovato from Fresno, and just started working with so many different fighters. And but yeah, Julio Cesar Chavez against him was the first world title fight I worked in. I met him. I've seen him about a year ago. Because we worked the ESPN fights and together, and I told him, I said, you know, first fight I worked, world title fight, was with Tony the Tiger Lopez against you in Monterrey, Mexico. Shit, he gave me a hug. Now he sees me, he gives me a hug. You know, because
Oh
it's
man.
that little connection. You know, so
he was like, ¿para qué le ayudas al Tony?
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. ¿Qué pasó? Me lo cagaste, güey.
yeah, rollo. I was
Yeah,
gonna
No
ask
me
you,
hubieras ayudado.
yeah.
how did it feel to walk out against Chavez though? Like, fuck.
It was phenomenal, and the thing about it, like I told you, baseball was my game, right? That's what I wanted to be, a professional baseball player. Roberto Clemente was my idol, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the fight was in a baseball field in Monterrey, Mexico, bro. So I walk out in the field and I said, "Shit, here I am, crazy." That's how it started, in a baseball field, and
Wow.
it was a Don King promotion, you
Oh
know.
shit.
Yeah, yeah,
Dang.
you know better than that.
I mean,
in a baseball field, Chavez, man, come on.
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah, in Monterrey, Mexico,
De
in a
Pilon.
world title fight with Don King. Yeah, that
Well,
was my
and
first. Yeah,
man, it's
pura
just
suerte,
crazy.
bro. To this day, I've never asked for a job. Yeah,
Oh, it's una chulada.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, because I mean, I didn't want to get to Chavez too quick, because to us, he's the king. You know what I'm saying? A huevo. El gran campeón mexicano and shit. But damn, man, I don't even know what to ask now, because that story is just so fucking epic, bro.
yeah, yeah, I
You
told
know?
you,
Really
man.
is like, yeah, that's like
Yeah.
you could make a movie out of just that.
Hey,
Kid,
you don't think it blows my mind? Shit,
Oh,
I
does
mean,
it?
I work on that. When you get all these big old champions come up to me and shake my hand, I think, fuck, man, me. I'm still that little Chicano that grew up as a farm worker. You know,
Yes. And
and
that's what's beautiful about it, man. Because even the title of your book, what was it? From the
from
garden, no,
the
what was it? From the fields to the garden,
from the fields to the garden, yeah.
bro.
Now,
When we heard that, we were just like, "There's no fucking better name." What? That's
yeah,
fucking amazing.
yeah, my sister-in-law gave it that name, and actually Friday they just finished. They're filming a documentary on my life,
Oh,
same name, from the fields to the garden, and they just finished Friday with all the editing. So Michael B. Jordan and the Creed people are going to help us take it to their distributor. So the producer sent it to Elizabeth Raposa, one of the executive producers, Friday, and then they
oh,
have a call Monday. So they're going to help us take it up there. So yeah, for the fields to the garden. Que
wow.
chingón.
oh man, when we heard that title, when I told that or Ash told me about it, telling you we had like a tear coming down our eye, like
Yeah.
wow,
Hey, man, I never forget where I come from, and you
raza pride right there. You know what I mean? That's it.
100%, bro. So when I go to my premiere, I'll let you guys know. I'll give you an exclusive. When
Please.
I go do the premiere in my hometown, Planada, well, it's too small. There's not a theater. 9 miles away in Merced, they have a theater.
Mhm.
But we're going to do the premiere there, and then the ones that I grew up with in the migrant camp, and we're all in our 70s now. I'm going to invite them as my guests, and there's still about 20 of us that grew up
Wow.
together. They'll
That's
be they'll be the first ones as my own personal guests, because can never forget where you come from. They're like family to me. We grew up together, eating at each other's houses, and their mothers are taking care of us, and my mother's taking care of. It's all raza.
Fuck yeah,
And
man. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
yeah,
that makes me think like when we were kids, like my mom's was out there, working out there, my tios, my aunts, everyone was out there doing that. So
where
that's
they grew up at.
and we came to Denver, Colorado.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
came to
we're
Denver,
raised.
Colorado. Y se dieron la chinga en el sol, you know what I
That's
mean? Quebrando las
that's what it's no nada, man. It's with the job that I have, people say, man, don't you get tired? It's a shit from what? It's not even a job. Picking tomatoes and peaches and cotton and apricots and nectarines
Fuck
and all that. That's a job. This ain't nothing. This is a blessing.
hell yeah, that's beautiful,
it's a
man.
blessing, and
To
it's just
show the love back at it, to give it back.
You
You know,
have to, man. It's your roots. I just got back Sunday. I was in Guadalajara. One
órale.
of the guys, Juan Perez, that works for Top Rank. He got married. He lives in Guadalajara. So I went over there, but I went over there to support him, but more for me to go back and water my roots. Like say, if you don't go back and water your roots, your tree don't grow. If your trees don't grow, then your fruit don't grow. And that's the lifestyle I've always grown up with. Is you can never forget where you come from, and you got to go back and water your roots, bro, because your tree no vale verga if you
yeah,
don't get it straight. You know,
Right. No, man, that's what the fuck is
yeah,
up,
it's
man. Those are some
very
precious
simple.
words. Yeah. La neta. It's
yeah,
just
that's got me thinking now. Now I got to
yeah,
go
me
back
too.
my whole life.
Yeah, it's when you break it down like
Damn.
that, because it's a very simple life. Is you look at the tree or a plant, is the roots are the one that give it strength, correct? And the
Yep.
only way to get that is to water it and fertilize it, and nourish it. And from there you grow, and you know.
Yeah, no, that's true, man. I'm not trying to give you dead air,
Hey,
but
no llores,
you
bro.
got me
Ah,
thinking.
sí, te va ando llorando.
No,
Por
pues
eso
es
no, por
que
eso no estoy hablando. I'm holding it back.
estás hablando palabras chingonas. That's why, like, I'm really thinking I'm not trying to give you dead air, but I'm like, fuck. Like, I don't want to jump to the next shit, like this
Yeah,
is
yeah, no, dale gas, bro.
no, pero so,
I'm about to call my mom, bro. Hold up.
ama.
La quiero mucho.
Yeah, 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 man.
Yeah. No, about let's go to the wrapping hands real quick, because I wanted to, like, we grew up as wrestling fans also, pro wrestling.
Yeah.
So everywhere I see tape, I don't give a fuck. I'd wrap my wrist as a kid. You know how
Yeah.
wrestlers do that. And then, of course, when we got into like got older and got into boxing, MMA, like then I started like wrapping my hands, and I didn't fucking know how, but I just just around whatever the fuck.
Sure.
Yeah, and then we started training boxing and shit, and then we kind of learned better. Our coach taught us, Then from there, like slowly but surely, I started thinking of other methods and shit. And I remember this one time, um, I was just doing it with tape, and I
Yeah.
and I put like a piece of tape like this way, right? And I
Yeah.
noticed that my wrist wouldn't, you know what I mean, bend. But I was like, nah, that's bullshit. And years later, I seen you wrapping hands, and you did it, and I was like, fuck yeah, I knew that shit was the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
Yeah.
what's up.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I came up with it, but I did think of it. You know what
Oh,
I'm
he's
saying?
trying to tell you,
He's
Stitch.
trying to
You
tell
took it
you.
from him.
No, no, no. I'm telling them.
I
And then
thought I thought yeah.
when it was then I started watching like your videos and shit, and I was like, man, I started seeing what you did and everything. And like now, if you give, because I work at a hospital, so any tape that I see, I'll tell people, hey, dude, have you ever had your hands wrapped? They're like, why would I? Let me do it. And I'll just grab napkins and tape, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden they're like, why does this feel so good? And I'm like, I don't know. I bet you want to punch me though, huh? And they're like, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
but
that's it. It's learning the proper techniques, man. And that I call it the plywood effect.
there you go.
You know,
That's
you
what it
look
was.
at logic, right? And plywood is designed, it's with strength because it's in so many different angles,
Right.
right? And that's what gives it the strength. But when you wrap a hand, you go this way, you go this way, you go all angles, you create the same type of formula. It's
Hmm.
strength, you're right. See, look at that. I got a metacarpal damage,
Right.
number one injury, so you can prevent that. But good job.
No, that's what's up, man. But like, even have you?
I also have a bad habit of doing that though. Like I always want to teach people how to wrap hands. I'm
Yeah,
like,
right.
you know how to
Well,
wrap your hands? And they're like, for what? And I'm like, I don't care. And I'm like, let me show you. Come over
Yeah.
here. I have a bad habit of that too, so that's weird to hear Ash say that.
well, from like age 6, my dad has been having wraps on my hands and like
Oh
teaching me all
yeah.
the way through the fingers. So I've known how to wrap my hands for a
Oh
while now.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to, man.
No, definitely. But of course, like I remember you started your class or your school. There was a time I think it was when you started with tap out. I mean, not tap out, bad boy. Remember, I think you started like a class, and I really wanted to attend it, but no había feria at the time. I was like,
Yeah.
fuck, how do I get a hold of them and shit? Like, fuck, but because I always wanted to be like a, wrap hands and shit for fighters and shit, but
Yeah, of course.
but
Yeah, I've always taught, bro. That's my nature to teach, and to take care of the fighters. And I mean, till this day, I always teach. And if nobody teaches you how to take care of the fighter, how can you take care of a fighter? This is a hurt business,
yeah,
right? And the ultimate goal of a fighter is to render his opponent unconscious. That's the knockout. So
hmm
you got to make sure that you kind of prevent it as much as possible. And then when they get injuries, you got to know how to take care of them. And the only way to do it is by education. When I was learning to be a cut man, you probably
hmm
heard this story because it sounds like you know my life pretty good. I had my school of kickboxing and I was learning to be a cut man.
hmm
And Bone Crusher Smith fought Marvis Frazier, the son of Joe Frazier, in Richmond, California.
yeah, all
I
right,
went and I saw one of the earlier fights. This guy did a good job on a cut. So I went over there and I said, look, I'm trying to learn to be a cut man. Can you tell me what you did? He says, fuck you. He goes, I'm taking this to my grave and you got to learn like me. And he walked
oh
away.
yeah, I remember that.
Talked about this big, man. I said, never going to be like that piece of shit. So my job is always to teach, you know. Now I go back with Andre Ward to Oakland and he forgot about it. I've never mentioned his name. It's not important. But now
Right.
him and his son, like you guys, him and his son want to come and take a picture with me. So I got my arms around him. I was all right, you piece of shit. You just let me know not to be like you. So teach, but you got to take care of these guys.
Yo,
Well,
but
something I've always thought is that is like there was no before you, it was just cutmen, right?
Yeah,
And then when you came in the game, I feel like you were the first person to redefine a cutman, and now everyone is like, oh damn, I got to be like Stitch. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like especially the new UFC people, like what's his name, Tate?
yeah,
yeah,
he's awesome
Yeah,
though.
Tate. Yeah, like he's pretty cool, and I feel like he's probably looks up to you a lot, and I
yeah, yeah.
respect it.
Yeah, it's you have to, and that's the thing about it. You're right. As Steve Mazzagatti, when I was at UFC years ago, he says you revolutionized being a cut man,
Yes,
you
you
know, and I did is to teach, but that comes from my parents. That comes from, the fight for the rights of the fighters. My parents fought for the rights of Cesar Chavez, for the
did.
farm workers.
Right.
So we've always been the family to give back, to give back, to give back. But in my position, yeah, that's my only job is take care of you. I'm not gonna let you get hurt.
You're the Michael Jordan of cutman, yo.
Yeah.
But I'll take you up on that.
The logo's gonna be like stitched
Yeah.
instead of the jump man. It's gonna be him like wrapping the hands. It's
Yeah.
gonna be
Hey
dope.
man, it's crazy how even all over the world, like in Guadalajara, they're recognizing me. The
Yeah,
guy,
of
some
course.
waiter comes up to me, and him and two waiters come up to me, and he says, "Una pregunta, ¿eres tú, Jacobo Duran?" I said, "Are you Steve Duran?" Yeah, I said, "Yeah." Podemos tomar un foto, And then
Yeah.
once they take pictures and other people see it and they recognize me, it opened up that door, and I ended up taking like 8, 10 pictures.
Fuck yeah, man. And that's cool. They te prestas, you know what I'm saying?
You have to give back, bro, because
That's
those
beautiful.
little moments mean so much to people, and I'll give you a story is, I mean, when had my school of kickboxing, I've been in Vegas 30 years, been over 30 years. Dennis Alexio fought here in Las Vegas.
Okay.
And after the fights, they had an after fight party and all that. And what was his name? Uh, Cunningham, Kevin Cunningham, was a quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, and he's from here, but he's a big superstar, right? And he's over there at the fight party, and me and my three carnales, and we're nobody, this before I was even Stitch. Where we're talking to Randall Cunningham, and he's a famous guy, and this guy comes up, "Hey Randall, hey, come here, man, let me introduce you to these guys." He says, "Hold on," he goes, "Let me finish talking to these guys." Bro, I never felt so important in my life, man. And he's a pastor here in Vegas, and I've
Nice.
done this story hundreds of times, and I've never run into him. And my brother says, "You got to go tell him." I said, "No, I'll run into him one of these days organically, and I'll just say, look, you just reinforce that this is the way you want to treat people because little things to us are big things to them." And so I've always taken the time, bro. You have to.
No,
Yep.
and it really is because like even this situation, you know what I mean? I never thought I'd be talking to to Stitch and shit. And
I,
it's fucking amazing, to me
Yeah,
and shit. It
this
means a
this
lot.
this right here is blowing up. Like this is changing our lives right now. Like, thank you so much for being.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I
Hey
don't.
man, I just I'm blessed. I thank God every day that I'm here and I'm in this position. And like I say, to this day, I've never asked for one job, man, but they keep
Like,
coming.
let me tell you something. This kid, since he was like 3, he's known who you are,
Yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
known what you do.
Yeah,
Chiqui, chamaco.
yeah. Well, I think he said it best. That through the years I helped revolutionize being a cut man. That was he's actually in all the years that I've done. He's outside of Steve Mazzagatti. He's the second one that has recognized that. That before it was non-existent. Now, but and it's funny because the new cut men, if you look at them, wear gloves. They wear that wrist wrap where you put the swabs instead of putting them in your mouth or here. And I tell these young fighters like you, if you're looking for a cut man and he puts a swab in his mouth or his ear, get rid of him. He's a fake cut man. That's nasty. That's old school. And then ask them what the medications do. What's the function of the medications?
Hmm.
And I'll ask you guys, the adrenaline chloride 1000. Do you guys know what it does?
I don't at all. That's
Yeah.
that's the part of it I wanted to
That's the
know.
one that
It goes through your vein, right?
and it clogs
The blood.
yeah the I can't remember the name.
Yeah,
But
you were doing okay. It's a vessel constrictor.
Ah.
So it closes up the blood vessels.
Oh shit.
That's what that does. So it's not a coagulant. See, and I tell these people if the cut man tells you that it's a coagulant, get another cut man. That's the wrong answer.
that's what I was gonna say. Good thing I didn't say that.
Oh.
No, you said it. I got you. Yeah.
God damn. I almost got caught.
You know what, Stitch? Now that I got
Yeah.
now that I got a real cut, man, I've always had a question about a cut. It was Pacquiao versus Marquez 3, I believe. And remember Marquez had a big cut and they put like a string in there.
yeah,
What is that?
that was stupid.
Oh,
That
so it
was
don't work?
no, Nacho Benning's team was the coach. I remember that fight. I've talked about it, but it's like dental floss. But you know what happens, and that's why you got to be careful when you get a good cut man and make sure that the cut man is good at what he does. Just because you're Nacho Beristain don't mean that you're a great cut man. So
Right.
somebody must have told him, hey, mira, ponla esta en la cortada, déjalo, y luego déjalo un cuerdo y luego jálale y para la sangre. Right? And that's what he did. He put it in there and I couldn't believe that bullshit. That was wrong advice. You know, he did the wrong thing. You know, it was horrible. But
I I just thought it
man,
was like
you're the first one to ever bring that up, by the way.
oh man, I've talked about this shit forever. That's why.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, and so I thought it was like a technique that no one uses. So I was like, is it good? Is it bad? Because no one's talked about it. I've never heard nothing about it. So that's why
No,
I'm kind of
nobody
asking
used
you.
that, and actually, it's probably illegal unless I mean, what was it? And usually
Yeah.
the commission will ask, but if you're not Joe Bernstein, they're not going to ask.
Ah, that's right. I forgot. Yeah, yeah. He's got it
Yeah.
like that.
But just because you're not Joe Bernstein, don't mean that you can stop a cut. So, don't let the names uh, help you. Look at the results. Like the fights I'm going to Saturday. I expect cuts.
Yeah.
So I told the promoter to let me bring another cut man that's qualified. And Paul Querido works Bellator and PFL and boxing because we've worked on cuts.
Mhm.
And you just can't sense, oh yeah, how many cuts have you worked on? Now this could be my first one, but it'll be okay. Not what you need.
Especially not in that one, man. Not with
And
that.
anyone.
Yeah,
And you don't need a fake cut man, bro.
that's true.
And trust me, you're talking about wrapping hands, right? Your son. But when I go in the dressing room, I watch guys wrap hands, and a lot of it determines on how good of a coach they are. They have a good wrap, that means that they've been studying the game. And so I look at stuff like that, little things like that.
No, all right, man. That's some
It
beautiful.
shows up to the fight in Miami and he sees me in the corner and I'm like, damn.
With no blood,
Cut man over
nothing here in your mouth or in your ear. Yeah.
I'll have it in my hat and shit.
Yeah. The poker with the eye.
I point at Ash, he's behind me. I'm like, give me the dental floss.
Yeah. Motherfucker.
He's like, hey, ya valió madre, llegó Stitch. Vámonos.
Ponle Vicks, güey.
Yeah, ponle, you fired. Yeah.
But yeah, you know what's one thing I never kind of like I couldn't really understand was the KO and the tap out rap. I kind of understood the KO one, but the tap out one, what was the difference? If you might talk about it.
The tap out round's not as sturdy because these guys are wrestlers, right? So their flexibility is a lot more. But you gotta, when the time comes, you gotta protect it that way. So not as much, not as tight, and then not as much tape and all that. It's just more designed so to protect them as much as possible.
Orale, so it's just not that tight. All right. That's what's up. But I'm gonna go.
Yeah, this design more for wrestlers. Because some guys their wrist, they don't like it real tight where you can't do that.
Mhm.
So you got to work with them on different angles.
Damn, that's what's up, man. That's cool.
Well, I mean, Stitch did do something that I don't know if I could let it go.
Oh,
You know what I mean? I don't know if I could let it go, but he was Chuck's corner against Vanderlei, bro.
oh,
I don't know. That kind of hurt me.
Did you?
What's that?
That you worked? Oh, go for it.
Oh, you worked Chuck Liddell when he fought Vanderlei?
Oh fuck, bro! I done so many fights. I probably.
I saw you in that corner. I saw you in that corner. I was like, "It's all good, man. It's all good." And then I saw Stitch with Chuck, and I was like, "No, Stitch is supposed to be with Vanderlei."
Yeah, well, the thing about it is you're right. Is Chuck was a UFC fighter, and Vanderlei had just come back from the Pride fights, right?
Man.
So Vanderlei's a friend of mine. Him and Shogun and his brother Ninja. When I used to go to Japan to work with Josh Barnett, I would do seminars for these guys, and they gave me the nickname Santana. Vanderlei and Verdum and these guys. Hey, till now they call me Santana. Hey, Santana. But Vanderlei's super guy, man.
I don't mean to change the subject. Let's get back on it. But do they call you Santana because of the reason I think they call you Santana?
Why is that?
Is it because of American Me?
Oh no, that's another. Edward James Olmos is worse. Fuck, I get that shit all the time. And yeah, and we're friends, right?
Yeah.
So now to the point because I did a movie with him, and we're friends, but Mexicans are worse, man. Let me see here. Oh, yeah, somos camaradas, man.
Simón,
Dude,
Yeah.
that is
qué
funny as
chingón.
hell.
Oh no, it is. It's insane, you know. So, but I get stopped all the time. The guy in Guadalajara, he says, "Is that you?" I said, "Who?" Edward James Olmos. I said, "No, man,
Oh wait,
nah." And they don't believe me half the time.
That's
You know,
fucking great, man.
you
yeah,
tell
I
him I'm
guess.
I'm Abraham Quintanilla.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
I'm Edward James almost. You know?
Almost.
But no, that's what that Cabron Sylvester Stallone. We're on break for the Creed movie, and me and him and his buddy Frank were talking to the makeup people in the back. And Frank is bragging about Stitch. I'll Stitch this and that and this and that. And he looks like Edward James almost. Este cabrón Sylvester Stallone about that quick says, huh, more like Edward James almost, and walked away. Yeah, that was a good nut shot from him, man. But yeah, so I can't find it. It's too many pictures of me and Edward James. Oh, here we go. Let me see if I can show it to you guys.
Man, I want to see
Check it
this.
out.
Yo, that is
Oh,
crazy,
shit.
man.
Yeah,
That is crazy.
Carnales.
yeah, I'm telling you, man. Yeah, and they call him
Carnales.
Stitch.
Stop
Yeah.
lying. Some carnales.
Yeah, no, they said they call him Stitch also on that the fights. Hey, Stitch, you know. So yeah, so more Edward James Olmos than Santana. Santana when my hair was longer, you know, a little bit more.
Oh shit! All right. Oh, you're talking about is hold on.
You
We're
just got it
confused
from
here.
Carlos.
Carlos Santana, yeah.
Yeah. So see,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah.
that Santana? Isn't that almost named in Blood In Blood Out?
No,
It
no,
is, ain't
that
it?
was a musician. Oye, como va, Black Magic
No,
Woman.
no, I know him.
You know, Edward James Olmos was it, yeah.
But
Blood
he
In,
was,
Blood Out, American Me.
yeah. What was his name in American Me though?
Popeye or something. I don't know.
No, it was Santana.
Yeah.
think it
Oh
was
no, I don't know if he was or not.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But okay, so the musician. Oh shit.
Yeah. No, he's second.
Now
Edward
watch
James
Vanley
Olmos
and
was first.
Shogun watch Vanley and Shogun be like all American me, and that's why they call him that.
Yeah.
We're
No,
over here
so-
thinking they do it because it's Carlos Santana, but it turns out it's American me.
Yeah, no que loco, ¿verdad?
That'd be crazy. But nah, man. Back
I
to
did
Vanderlei. Oh, go for it.
I did hear a story. It was a how long ago did Chuck fight Vanley? think that
Shit,
was-
2008.
2008. I heard it like the year afterwards that that night of the fight was actually your birthday. And I heard
No. Reverse. I'm working with Vanderlei Silva. No, I think no.
No.
You're right.
You're working with
You're right.
Chuck.
I'm working with Chuck Liddell, but Vanderlei about a week before, I talked to him and I'm talking to him and I said, "Oh yeah, look, man, it's because psychology, right? Hey, man, it's my birthday that day. I want to wish you a happy birthday, you know." But you're right. I'm working with Chuck Liddell. Too many fights, but now it's one of the top 3 fights I've ever worked in my life. Tremendous. They were banging the shit out of each other, and after the fight, Chuck gets a cut. I clean him up, and I go across the corner. Leon Tabs, the legendary cutman's working with Vanderlei, and I go up there, and he's all bruised up like this, man.
Mhm.
And I said, Vanderlei, how you feeling? He goes, Stitch, no, I'm okay. Right in front of all this shit, bro. He says, Stitch, you're just him and I. Happy birthday. So that's the story, bro. Yeah.
That's the story. Hell yeah. I'm telling you, I heard that like a year after the fight happened. And when I heard that, I was like, man, that is beautiful.
Yeah, I was in, but that's the type of friendship because they know I'm there to take care of them. Like Vitor Belfort says, he says, when I see Stitch walking into the dressing room, even though I know he's working with the other guy, he brings that calming effect, and that's what you want to portray to these guys.
Tell him what you tell me whenever you see him walking
Yeah.
out with people.
Yeah, well, hold on though, because I want to get to that. But like Stitch, I actually named my son Vitor after Vitor because we love him so much and shit. But go ahead, Cruz. Tell him the way you told me because that shit is badass.
Yeah, so check it out, man. Um, I I have thought about this for a while because I know we all collectively agree on it, but your story with Klitschko and it's just a beautiful story of how you explained it, the way he says like you could call me son, and then you guys run into each other. Um, what is it like 3 months later in Germany or something?
Yeah.
And then what is? I'm sorry, I'm getting nervous.
he
My
he's
bad.
he's nervous, Stitch.
No, you're talking about
Uh,
Klitschko.
yeah, and then what he said to you though is where I was like, wow, I cannot believe like those words are so true. And what he told you is that he doesn't trust a lot of people, but he trusts you with his
A
life,
lot of
man.
men.
Oh yeah.
He said, Stitch, he goes, there's very few people I trust in my life. You were one of them. And you know, it's funny you bring that up, because in this documentary, I got a little piece where they're showing New York. Because from the fields to the garden, and then I got a little clip, and and it has, because they interviewed Vladimir in Kiev. He's out there fighting Russia, so they did a long transmission, and they asked him about that moment, and he says, "Yeah, my father died, and asked him if I could call him son, and and then I asked him, hey, that one moment, why? You know, so a lot of special moments, man.
That's
Yeah,
dope.
I just believe that we all feel that though.
yeah,
Like even though we haven't experienced you in our corner or like that experience at all, but we just collectively know that we could trust Stitch if he's on our side.
It's
yeah,
like he told me one time we're watching the fights, and he's like, "Oh, Stitch is in his corner. He's gonna win. He's gonna
Yeah.
win."
yeah.
He's
I
like,
know some reporters said I had like a 85% win ratio, right?
Wow.
"Yo,
That's cool. I'll take.
yo, that is dope." Shoo. I believe it too.
Yeah, yeah. I'm telling you, like us when we used to watch UFCs, oh shit, Stitch coming out with them. Like, va a ganar el güey.
I
You know
know
what I mean?
people say that
Yeah,
all the
Chico.
time. Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, Stitch got the other corner. Ya valimos
Oh,
madre."
fuck.
Yeah, lo cagué, man. I know it. I was doing a fight with one of KSI's social media guys,
All right.
and one of the earlier fights, and the guy in the other corner, I saw him after the fights, and we're in the hallway in the back, and he said, "Man, when I saw you in the other corner, I knew we were going to lose." So, that's kind of cool, man.
No,
That's
that's how we do feel like that though. Like from and look, me and Ash, we started watching MMA at like age 12, right, Ash?
yeah.
Like 11, 12. And we go back to like Dan Severn, Marco Huas, Boss Rutan, and all of them, all the way to now. Like as a matter of fact, like for me, I'm kind of like what Rampage says, where it's like I don't even know names anymore. I just know the faces. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah,
'cause I feel like my era was like Shogun, Vanderlei, Rampage, Chuck, and all that, and it's kind of gone away. It is. It is. See, I can't even accept that it's gone.
Yeah, I hate it.
that's a good point, Junior, because that was when I left the UFC. That was Dan Hardy said it was Stitch left. That was the end of the golden era,
Oh,
and that was all these. You're talking about Boss Rutan and Dan Severn and all these guys. Worked with them all, every one of them, and that was the golden era of MMA. And now I don't even know the names. There's so many guys, and they took the fan pleasure of knowing the fighters. Now it's promoting the UFC through the fighters, and
mhm.
yeah, I don't even know. It's not the same.
It's not. It really ain't, man.
I really appreciate you saying that because now I feel so much better when I talk to people and I tell them exactly what you just said.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I mean, because it's like it's ya se acabó. Like ese mundo ya no existe. It's a different thing,
Mhm.
right? And I'm
hundred
not
percent.
saying it's good or bad or whatever. I'm just saying like it's not the same. Like it's not bringing that hype. You don't have those characters. You don't have those different styles. You don't have. It's just a different game, man. It's
Yeah,
not. I'm not hating on it. I love MMA. I love everything,
Mhm.
boxing, whatever. But as far as like MMA, it's he always comes up to me. Did you hear what's the name is fighting this guy? I'm like, who is that?
yeah,
He
I
shows
know, me
I'm
too.
like, oh
Yeah,
yeah, that fool and that guy. Oh, they're fighting.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. I know. I have these new guys come up to me and, hey man, ¿cómo estás, Stitch? And how you doing? And fuck, who's this?
Oh shit.
Yeah, I know,
I'm the
man. The
champ.
whole, the whole, yeah, yeah, exactly. The
They
whole
have.
era has changed,
You
and
know.
but it is what it is. I'm just
Um.
glad to have been in that golden era.
Yeah.
Did you ever work with Frank Shamrock?
I worked against them actually.
With who again?
Yeah, about Frank. Yeah, but no, Frank and I, yeah, we hung out a couple of times together, but no, I worked against him. I worked against Ken when Tito fought him, and
Wow.
yeah,
I don't remember that. I mean, I remember the fights, but I don't remember you in Tito's corner.
I
Cause
don't
I
know. I
know Ken.
remember him in Tito's corner.
Yeah, me neither.
yeah, when he fought Ken Shamrock
The first time or the third time or when?
the last time, yeah,
Oh, the third time. Or
beat the
UFC
shit out
fight
of him.
night. Yeah, that
Yeah,
sucked to watch. I hated
yeah.
it. I still hate it. I refuse to watch that fight, which brings me to another fight. Um, you were there, and if you could just tell us how it felt when Chael Sonnen tapped out Shogun, which that's another fight I refuse to rewatch. But I remember you being there with Shogun, and Shogun's just like fuck, sitting there in the middle of the octagon. What was that
I
like?
got a picture of me on my knees, and he's there holding like this. And at that point, I just, I let him regroup. And basically before I got it, I started taking care of him, clean him up, and all that. I saw him, and he was just disappointed. And yeah, that was that moment that was priceless. I said, well, just let him do what he has to do, and to regroup himself, and you know, try to get him back to reality.
Yeah, damn, that was fucking cool because that fight broke my heart because he was training with Freddie Roach at that time,
Yeah.
and he has so much to give, and he didn't get the chance to show it. I was like, fuck, man. But
The thing with this sport is anybody can do it anytime.
that's right.
At any time. That's why I don't predict them. People ask who do you think is going to win? I don't predict them because I don't know and you don't know. Yeah, I'm not going to make a fool out of myself.
That's
I'm
right.
not gonna lie. When that happened, I looked down to open up a beer, and when I looked up, Shogun was tapping, and I said, "What the?"
Yeah.
Right? I remember how upset I was, and I remember my wife was like, "What's wrong with you?" Because I was all running around the house,
Yeah.
cursing and whatever, and she's like, "Yeah, cálmate."
Yeah.
But
I'll show you guys another. Give me a second. I'll show you. We'll talk about another great story. Hold on.
Okay.
So you're talking about WW. Who asked about wrestling, pro wrestling? Brock
Oh,
Lesnar.
All of us.
I got to show you Brock Lesnar's gloves, bro.
holy shit!
oh my, no,
What the fuck?
These are 4X's. So what happened when he fought
the hell?
Shane Carwin? I'm wrapping his hands, and then I try to put the gloves on, and I pull on them, and they rip. It's like the Hulk. And oh gee, and Burt Watson, our coordinator, says, Stitch, you got to figure something out, man, because we only got one more pair. So working with Klitschko, I used to put Vaseline on their gauze and slide the glove in, and that's what I did. And I ended up keeping the gloves, man. Look at that.
That's amazing, Stitch.
Damn, that is. I don't even know what to say right now.
Yeah,
That is insane.
yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy, man. So I had to show you that. And I was going to show you Fedor Emelianenko gave me some sweats, team sweats. And and it had my name on it, so how much of an honor is that? Give me a second, hold on.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, let me see if I can find them.
Para tener el respeto de Fedor.
¿Te imaginas, güey?
Yeah, Fedor was, so when I first met Fedor, when Josh Barnett was let go from the UFC, he beat Randy Couture, but then he tested positive for steroids. Well, he started fighting for Pride in Japan.
Right.
And he asked how much I would charge to go with him and give him my fee. But when I got there, everybody would want me to wrap their hands. And Josh would say, you know what? I paid to bring him. If you want to wrap your hands, give him $500. I would make $2-3 grand in like this hour and a half. So anyway, Fedor had just come back from breaking his thumb, first fight coming back. And the promoter asked me, can you go wrap Fedor's hands? And I say, shit, I didn't even talk money. He was such a big superstar, right? So I go in the dressing room and working with the Klitschkos and others, I work with Russians. I know they're quiet. So I'm wrapping his hands and open, close, and how you feel, good, this and that. And finally I finished wrapping his hands. And I said, how did they feel? He goes, super. Bro, that's all he said. I walked out, man. And every time, him and his brother Alexander, every time they fought, I'm the one that took care of them. So my last fight with him, with Bellator, it's in San Jose, and I'm coming in from the airport, and I'm walking into the lobby, and he's, the fight, everybody sits outside of the lobbies. He's there with his team, and he comes up to me, he gives me a hug. Shit, Russians don't do that. He goes, I have sweats for you. I said, oh my man. So he sent a guy up there, but look at this shit, bro. It has my own name on it.
Damn.
Look at that.
Cool.
The front. Look at that.
Wow.
Stitch. I mean, and what makes it special is that he thought about me when he was in Russia.
That's
And
right.
see, those are the moments. I've never wore it. I'm not gonna wear it, but those are the moments that they think about me.
That
And
is that
like,
is-
what's that?
no, I'm just saying that is amazing.
It is.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Brock Lesnar. Another time I'm looking at because everybody had sponsor shirts, right?
Yeah.
And he something can't remember. Oh, so I like your shirt. He goes, oh, I packed one for you. He goes, no, no, no. He goes, my wife asked me when she's packing for me, should I get one for Stitch? And he says, yeah. And then he's wrapping his hands. He goes and gives me a shirt and gives me a hug.
Damn.
So,
Brock did that.
yeah, yeah,
Damn.
Sable is talking
Oh,
about
yeah.
Stitch.
Yeah, Sable.
yeah. Say yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And there's yeah,
I was gonna say
Chulada.
about how your name is on it, like with the Fedor. I
Yeah.
thought that was cool in Creed, how no one else's name was showing, but he made sure in that shot it said Stitch. And I've
you're
always
good, bro. Yeah, Michael was super good with me. Even my own tape. He even let me use my own tape. And in the movie, my name wasn't Stitch. My name was Marcel. I'll tell you a little history there. So I'm reading that and I said, man, I got to change that. I don't know anybody named Marcel. This is one, right? And but when it was time for Rocky to introduce us to Adonis, Sylvester Stallone says, "Oh, this is Stitch, the best cut man in Philadelphia." And man, God, my heart just started pounding. And the next day, I said, "Hey, man, thanks, man." Because now you're going to have to be authentic. But you're right. I had the big Creed on my back. I'm the only one that had that kind of cornerman jacket. My name on the front. So they gave me all access, but they wanted to make it as authentic as possible. Yeah, they showed me a lot of love, man.
And
But good eye.
because you got people like us out there watching.
Yeah.
Like,
You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't want none of that.
look,
Man,
go for it, man.
Hold up. I can't move forward from the Fedor moment. Like,
Yeah, do it.
the fact that the last emperor, to me, I want to say the greatest MMA fighter of all time, man. Like an absolute legend, absolute the respect that Fedor has earned in the world of MMA, like it's like no other, right? For him to be out and about, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna be at the show. Let's make Stitch." Yo, that is insane.
Beautiful.
Like,
Yeah.
yo, I almost don't believe you, Stitch.
Hey, man, it's right there, bro.
I showed you.
Yeah,
Man,
I didn't make it.
awesome.
And I got a lot of pictures of me wrapping his hands.
Yo,
And
What is like real quick? I don't want to like really like turn it into that, but what does it feel? What does it feel to be in his presence? Like, what's his demeanor? What's his mannerisms? Like, what is
real calm, real quiet, bro. That's what I'm saying. He don't show a lot of expression. And for him to have come and give me a hug, and tell me he had sweats for me, it's like he was waiting for me to come.
yeah,
It
awesome,
was pretty special. Shit, that's fatal.
this might be a stupid question, but like, does he look like he can just like he could beat some ass? Like, does he have that look to him? Does he have that feeling?
Yes.
Oh, he does?
Damn, I wish
Yeah.
Fedor.
Cool,
Yeah.
man.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
And then, you know
Man.
what? I gotta get it out the way. Because I'm such a Vanderlei fan.
Yeah.
What about Vanderlei? Like, what's it like to be around him? Like, does he have that look, that feeling, like that? Like I said, demeanor, mannerism, like.
Hey, when we were in, it's a good question. When we were in Japan, the first times I was there, I see Vanderlei, and to me, Vanderlei was a badass man. I told him, I said, Vanderlei, I was scared of you when I first met you, but super, super, super nice guy. They're all good guys, bro. And I got a video of me and him and Verdun where we're like this, and all of a sudden, Oye, como va comes out. Oye, como va. And we're all like this, arms around each other, and then we all start going at the same time, So that's a classic video, man. But yeah, Vanderlei's super, but a super, super good guy, man, and such a beast, such a warrior,
Great warrior.
That's awesome.
Man, they'll come up to me and Steve, I love you, obrigado, hermano. The whole works, man. Just mind blowing.
It is.
Because we could tell you, I could probably say it right now, like, and I'm talking about all three, like top fighters. I want to say like our number one of all time has got to be Frank Shamrock.
Yeah.
Like Frank is number one to us. To us, he's the one that kind of like changed everything and turned it more into like instead of just guys swinging at each other, he brought the athlete to the game. You know what I mean?
No, 100%. He was 100% athlete and aggressive.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we love Frank. We love Shogun to death. Like that man, like man,
Yeah.
what a warrior.
Yeah.
Vitor is one of our top. Ken, Vanderlei, and Tito.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely, man. Those are
You
it.
can tell whatever we grew up in, right? Now that I
Oh,
said
shit.
that.
Oh,
That
look.
was
here
my
comes-
era.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, right?
That was my era. That was my era.
Hey,
He finally makes it, huh?
he finally
Hey,
made it.
hey, what's going on, fellas?
There he is. What's up,
Holy
Manny?
shit.
Episode, man.
Manny, you showed up.
Tell him.
You showed
You're
up
never
at the
right.
right time.
Hey, man. I'm telling you, man. Check it out. I've been jamming
I was
out,
just
man, on
telling
my
you.
stream.
Where you at in Michigan, eh?
Saginaw.
Okay, yeah, my son's in Ypsilanti.
Yeah, Ypsilanti. Yeah. I know exactly where that is, man. That's what Eastern Michigan
Yeah.
is down there.
Yeah, not far from
Yeah.
here.
Small world. You know who ended up going to a Michigan college? Actually, it was Ypsilanti. It was Eastern Michigan. Was we interviewed Popeye from Blood In, Blood Out.
O sea, el Popeye.
Yeah, and he went to college there. He went to
Okay.
college there, and that's where he got into acting a little bit. Was from there,
Man,
and
that's
it
crazy.
was awesome, man. Yeah, that was a great time, man.
Manny,
Small
he didn't
world.
go to college. He went to prison. He went to San Quentin, bro.
That was after he went. That was after he went to college.
He knew what was up. But yeah, man. Real quick, back to what we're talking about though, real quick, because we're in the middle of some Fedor shit, right?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No, you're good, man. You're good. Stitch, how you know what's another thing that I really like that you said like back in the day, like when you can't communicate with them, they still communicate with just like the touch. Remember how
Yeah.
you know like touch and then the close into open touch and all that shit. I thought that was fresh as fuck, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I do so many international fighters.
Mhm.
And they got their headphones on or something, and they learn that open, open or close, open, close, open, close, this, that. And yeah, you do it without saying a word.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's amazing. You communicate like you know
Yeah,
what I'm saying on that shit. Oh my god.
Yeah.
When they do show like backstage and you see it happening, like look, and once again, like we're massive fight nerds. Like we're paying attention to everything,
Yeah.
but to the people that know and we're watching it, we're just like, dude, isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Did you see him? Like how he's wrapping the hands and the signs and this and that.
A normal person would be like, "What are you talking about, man?"
Yeah. It's funny you bring that up because I was doing a boxing show, and I'm wrapping this guy's hands, and his coach says, "How long does it take you to wrap hands?" So I one hand, 7 minutes, and I'm wrapping his hands, I'm shooting the shit, and I'm talking, and by the time I finish, he clicks it, and it was 6 minutes and 59 seconds.
Wow.
shit.
Yeah.
So you right on the money, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
you know your shit.
I'm
Right.
trying myself a time or two,
Yeah.
Is there any, especially like in the beginning, was there any nerves? Do you still get nervous? A feeling of like, oh man, I got to wrap Tyson real quick, or I got to wrap Klitschko.
No?
No, those days are done, bro.
The puro campeón, ¿verdad?
No.
I've been there, done that, man. No, of course, it's just shooting the shit with them, and that's the best part of it, and
Is it-
they give you a hug at the end, and
Yeah.
they thank you, and because it's like who's that? Frank Mir said. He says, when I see Stitch walking into the dressing room, my stomach drops because I know it's time to fight.
Oh
Yeah.
shit, that's true.
And that's it. When you start wrapping your hands, bro, it's time to fight.
That is
Yeah.
true. Bro. Think about it like that. Like, yeah, llegó Stitch. Tiempo para tirar chingazos.
Yeah, ya la
And
vi.
ya está listo, bro. Yeah.
Están listos, güey. Vámonos, güey. You know
Yeah.
what? I don't know if you attended or you worked the corner of any man on this fight, but you were there for Fedor versus Crow Cop, right? Did you attend it? It's because I have seen that you said that you did, bro.
I probably did. What organization?
A Pride.
I don't know if I did Fedor and Crow Cup.
Oh, you didn't attend it or nothing? You weren't there for
Well,
it?
but Josh Barnett might have been on the card.
Yeah,
Josh was on the card.
yeah, he was.
Yeah, wow, that's back. That's going way back.
Because
That was a bigger
that's
fight
like
'cause-
number one fight.
Yeah, that was the biggest fight from Croatia and from Russia, and
Yeah,
same thing with Krokop. When Krokop went to the UFC,
yeah.
and his agreement was that I would be the one wrapping his hands.
Oh,
You know?
wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that was another thing, and yeah, so I had a good relationship with him through all that.
I think, believe it or not, I think to me that would be the most intimidating fighter. Would be Crow Cop.
Yeah, he was pretty intimidating. You know,
Yeah.
I was there when he knocked out Gabe. Oh no, when Gabe Gonzalo knocked him out.
Yeah, that sucked.
That was harsh.
He's like, you know, he just locked up. His body locked up, and the doctor trying to take the mouthpiece out. And I had learned before from these type of knockouts that you leave the mouthpiece in because, you know, number one, he's locked up. His body just locked up, so you can't get the mouthpiece out. But as long as he's breathing, and what he's doing, his body is rebooting, and that's what happened to Crocup. He got knocked the F out, and he just, and I said, no, leave the mouthpiece in, let him kind of reboot, and he'll come down, and then we're okay. But always leave the mouthpiece in because, you know, you can bite your finger off, you know, and there's no need. As long as he's breathing, you know, and he's not going to swallow the mouthpiece. It's too big, you know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of common sense to that.
I mean, talking about badass fights that you've actually done probably my favorite fight that I can think of right now, which was Robbie Lawler versus Rory McDonald, #2.
My favorite fight too, bro.
Wow.
Yeah, that's you're doing your work, bro. I like that. Robbie, that fight was selected into the UFC Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
wow.
And when Robbie Lawler got on stage, he personally thanked me for keeping him in the game. And I didn't go to the MMA awards, right? But I got so many messages that, hey man, Robbie didn't forget where you came from. And look at that cut.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I remember that.
He said, Robbie didn't forget where you came from or where he came from. He thanked you for keeping him in the game. And I thought that was very highly respectful. But it's in the UFC Hall of Fame.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
Awesome, man.
that stare down everything. I cannot.
Yeah, that was funny.
resist it.
And I told Robbie not to laugh or anything. He goes, I told him not to blow. He goes, and all kinds of blood just kind of.
Yeah, I remember. Oh, like a fucking true warrior. You know what I mean? That he is.
Oh yeah, and the next day they did a good because it's like you got a knife and just cut it straight. They sewed it easy, and he showed me the next day, and he was good to go.
Damn, that's crazy.
Robbie was like, Stitch, how do I look? He's like,
Yeah, you got knocked the F out, bro.
Exactly.
that's para la chingada, but you look good, bro.
Now, that was a good fight too, though, man.
Now, Stitch, I got a question for you. I don't know if the guys might have already covered it. I apologize if they did. Has there ever been a fighter that you didn't click with?
Oh, true.
No,
You know what I'm saying? No, really?
no, you know,
that's
it's
awesome.
funny. It's funny you asked that question, Manny, because I did one with Marco Antonio Barrera, and he asked me the same question. He goes, in Spanish, has there ever been a fighter that has disrespected you? And I said, no. I said, because my job's different than yours. My job is to take care of you. Why would you go out there and try to mess with me?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true. Right?
And it's
Very true.
No, it's been, you know, I've showed them all respect. They show me respect. You know.
That's awesome.
The truth, bitch, it was Rampage. No, just kidding.
No. Who was it? Miller. What the hell was his name? I forgot. He kind of, hey man, get the F out of my life. Can't remember shit. It was years ago. I'll think about his
Miller.
name. And
Mayhem Miller?
Mayhem Miller. He fought George St. Pierre.
Yeah.
And after the fight, our job is to clean them up, the blood and all that for the cameras. And I'm cleaning them. It's, get the F out of my light. That's how I left, you know. That's how
Yeah.
Well, he apologized. I said, man, I was just kidding. And then you took off, you know. But I was
yeah.
well. But no, that was it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, that's real cool, man. that they have the respect like that for you all the way around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now, what about movies, man? I mean, was it a big trade? I mean, I know you work with like Ash just named, man, just a handful of guys that you work with, superstars. I mean, legends.
Yeah.
But what was it like working with like Stallone and them? You know what I mean? Like, I know it probably wasn't any different because you've been in the limelight, you've been in that main spotlight before. But what was it like doing a movie compared to an actual fight?
Nah, bro, I'm always a little Chicano that grew up as a farm worker. I never forget where I come from, but it blows my mind to be with these big. The first one that I did was Play It to Bone with Woody Harrelson and Antonio Banderas.
Yeah.
And
Great movie.
I wanted to be the cutman for Banderas because he was Latino and I'm Latino, but Chuck Bodak, the legendary Chuck Bodak, that used to put the tape on his head.
Yeah.
He got in front of me, cabron, and he got Antonio Banderas. So I ended up with Woody Harrelson. But in the fight, Woody Harrelson's the one that gets cut, and I get all the accolades. You know?
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Yeah.
And then working with Balboa, I told this story earlier, right here, right where I'm sitting at. I get a call from referee Joe Cortez, and he says they're doing a Balboa movie, and would you like to be in the movie? And at that time, I was going to Paris, France for a world championship fight with a guy from Fabrice Tiozo from France. And then the week after, I was going to be in London. So I told Joe, nah, Joe, I'm thinking money. I said, nah, Joe, I'm going there and all that. I called my wife at work, and she goes, are you crazy? She goes, you have to take it. Rocky's an American icon. And I thought about it, and right here, man, I'm negotiating with the people in London. I delete, and I ask them if they don't mind if I'll take this, and they understood. And then it turned out that the fight in France got canceled. So I ended up doing Balboa. And,
man.
Yeah, and I tell people, how many guys you know I've done 3 movies with Rocky? Bro, I have.
Yeah.
Done 3 movies with Michael B. Jordan. Bro, I have. And I did
man.
11
That's
with
awesome.
it's crazy. I did Selma Hayek. You're talking about Boss Rutan. Somebody's talking about Boss
Rutan, of course.
Boss Rutan, me, Here Comes the Boom.
Here Comes the boom.
Kevin James, Selma Hayek.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot you were in that. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
That's what the slap, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. Now here's the thing is, in movies when you have lines, you get residuals, and that's where the money comes in every time they sell the movie to whatever. But in this one here, I didn't have no lines, and once again, I got to think of something. But when it was time for us to do the filming, my part with Kevin James, he pulls me aside, and he says, "Stitch, we gotta have you say something." And shit, I already thought about it. I said, well, I always tell the fighters walking with the UFC, oh, that's good, that's good. So he called me in, they were doing the fight scene. Oh, Stitch, I can't believe you're working on me. Big fan and this and that, and I'm working on it. Finally, at the end, I slap him like, boom, boom, we're walking with the UFC. And I walk off, I was going to slap him. Everybody started laughing, bro. And that was the only take, and that's in the movie. And that's, I call it my $1 million chingazo.
Hell yeah, man. That's awesome, bro.
Yeah, that was cool. He was so cool, man.
Fucking shit, man.
That is awesome, man. And plus, man, I love Selma. Selma's my, that's my dream girl, bro.
I forgot Selma was in that.
Yeah, man. She was the nurse, the school nurse.
Yeah, man.
Yup. That was a great flick, man.
I was already jealous of Stitch, man. It just shot up.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, man. Shit, that's why I was like, fucking Stitch, the winners I'm fucking with Selma Hayek and shit, fuck yeah, with Rocky and shit. I was like, okay. They're all talking about the fights and shit. And I watch UFC and I watch boxing and stuff like that, but not like these two. These two live and breathe that shit, you know what I'm saying? But and I liked it. I liked it, like it says, I pro wrestled for 17 years and it actually, my trainer was Dan the Beast Severin.
Oh yeah.
Dan Severin. Yep. So he's the one who trained me there in Coldwater, Michigan. And yeah, man. And actually I just spoke to him a couple weeks ago and we're working on something together that's going to be happening. And the guys from here, Talks Hits, going to help me out, man. Ash and KFT going to help me out with that. So we got something in the works. But yeah, man, like it says, it's just crazy how you're right, man, how things just happen. Like you said, you talked to your wife, you thought about it, and then you turn that fight down. That fight didn't end up happening. And then this opened the door for you into Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? And so that's just awesome, man. Like it says, I was just like,
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
that's just cool, man. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy, bro. I'm the farthest thing from being an actor, and I've been 7 documented ones. You know that, and I did one. You know that Undisputed. Somebody mentioned that. I don't even tell people about that one. That was a prison film, and with Ving Rhames and
Yeah.
Wesley Snipes
And Wesley
Stewart
Snipes.
was it?
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
and so I've been blessed. But I get a letter from SAG. They want me to become a member. I said, man, I'm not an actor.
Yeah.
And this was a Creed 2. And they paid for it for me to become an actor, right?
Uh-huh.
And then so, but in doing that, shit about less than a year ago, I get a check. I get a letter that I qualify for a pension. So they give me a check, and then every month I get a check. Que loco, ¿verdad?
Bro, that's
Wow.
awesome.
I'm an
Yeah,
actor,
man.
man.
Hey,
Hell yeah. You get
Yeah.
insurance and all that shit.
You
Yeah.
deserve it. You deserve it, man.
yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
talking
man.
about.
Seriously, bro.
You know,
That's awesome,
You know,
bro.
crazy. Yeah, cool. It's mind blowing. You know.
it
So,
really is, man. I mean, see, yo, aquí que, right now with this podcast, like having you on here, my mind is blown. I think my journey is, I'm blessed too. You know what I mean? Like
hey,
even the day I met Manny and shit, what I mean?
Thank you.
From then it started on and shit, and I've been really blessed. Like I said, having you here, but like with your journey, it's so amazing. Seriously, yeah. Y los pues being raza de las pinches calles, you know what I mean?
hey, man, y apenas me ando calentando, bro. You
That's
know,
all.
life has been. I got a
Hell
lot
yeah.
of good things going on this year, and you know, I created a brand, and
Nice.
and now we're starting to max it. But you know, I always tell everybody, and that one line, we've all been there. That line, that one line, we're all scared to cross, and if
Yeah.
you don't cross it, you never get there, man. Right? You
That's
know,
right.
man, you went through tough times, I'm sure. You
Yeah.
know, and if you do it for the money, do it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
You know, you got to
Yeah.
do it for love and passion. You know,
Yep.
Definitely, man. And
but everything's possible. 'Cause I ain't no different than any of you guys, man. I just
That's
been
so
blessed.
cool, man.
Yeah.
but you are como te diré, like
He
you're an
embellishes,
inspiration, huh?
yeah, yeah, like he embellishes like a pride that like you're like a pride to it. It's weird. I
Simon,
don't know how to explain it. I can't even find the words right now, but it's like we you're like of course, the man's a national treasure, you know what I'm saying?
definitely.
Straight up, but like
Uh,
no, nos da un orgullo que seas raza,
Nosotros.
que seas de
Puro
nosotros.
Chicano, bro, 100%, man.
You
You
know what I
know,
mean?
Huevo.
Like we
everything I do is for the raza.
we
Igualmente.
claim you like no other.
Uh,
Yes. Yeah, we do.
Right,
yeah,
right. Definitely.
Yeah, we do. Seriously, man. You're up there, bro. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And like it says, whenever your name is mentioned and anything that I've seen, it's always with respect, which is awesome.
Fuck
yeah.
yeah.
Which
I
is
always want
awesome.
to keep that, man. You know, I don't want to. You know, I'm a good guy to work with. Don't fuck with me, man, because I'll come
Oh
back
yeah.
again. You know,
No,
uh, but I treat people with respect because that's the way I want to be treated. You know,
Yeah.
uh,
hell yeah, man.
uh,
And
but just to show you real quick,
a ver.
my outfits, la bandera de la huelga.
Oh yeah, hell
Oh
yeah, yeah.
man.
Cesar
I always
Chavez, huh?
wear that, and then the name of my little town, se llama Planada. Where
And
we at?
oh,
Oh,
They,
that's
órale.
dope,
they,
man.
they get #1 shot right there. Look,
That's
Damn.
and
beautiful,
that's
man.
Wow.
because when I'm working on a fighter, the cameras shoot back here behind me, right? And
Uh-huh.
that's #1 shot, and I could sell that for a lot of money to sponsors, but it's not for the world to know what Planada is, for the guys to know from Planada that I'm thinking of them.
No,
Yeah.
qué chingón.
No, raza, puro farm workers. You're
Ándale.
talking
Yeah.
about ice. Ice me la pela, man. You know. So,
Yeah, me la pela.
Hell yeah.
Yo,
No. Oh, and trust me, like us on the outside, we feel that. Like we see it, we feel it, we know it.
yeah.
And that's why we got your back like 100% on the
I
outside. Like,
know. Yeah.
You see,
and I'm talking from us as just fans, having your back. You know what I mean? It's dope, man.
before I let you go, because I know, we've taken a lot of your time and shit, and I really appreciate it. But like, I gotta ask two things. Because you went into the Boxing Hall of Fame on 2020 or 24, right? And it was stacked. And you actually had one of our homies get inducted with you, Don McGuire.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I heard that you guys are the Cheech and Chong
What
right?
they say,
Of MMA and shit, of
yeah.
boxing, all that good shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
Don said he was gonna throw the greatest pay-per-view in history, and he was gonna box Stitch.
Ahora de verdad. Hey, I'll take his legs out right away, bro.
That's what I was gonna say.
Hey, gacho, ¿verdad? Te vato en crutches.
Pinche- No, Don, hey man, Don es una chulada. Ese güey es una chulada, la neta.
Yeah, and I got inducted into the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame también. And then in June, the WBC Hall of Fame and all that shit. Damn, to me, it don't, it's
Dang.
okay. It's an honor.
That's
You know,
what's up.
not what I do it for, you know.
And my last question to you, well, I hope we get you back on sometime soon. You know what I mean? That'd be the shits. But I gotta ask you, where can I get some of your tape? And if like when can I ever? You think I'll fucking be able to get my hands wrapped by Stitch one of these days? Hopefully, you know what I mean?
Hold up, Ash. Hold up. That's what I wanted to say. I was like, people pay money to, like at cons to get signatures from people.
Mhm.
It's like, man, people would pay money just to get Stitch to like put Vaseline on them and move it,
Yeah.
or get their hand, get one hand wrapped on, like one or two, both. It's gonna be
No,
two.
I don't. I always do that everywhere I go. I'll pick one person, and I'll wrap their hands like a fighter, and I'll cut it off, and then I'll tape it back together, and they got themselves a cast of their hand. But I only pick one. But I've done it for generals in the army in Afghanistan. I've done it for Dr. J, the basketball player. I've done it for
Damn.
actors. I've done it for all these royalty in Dubai, and it changes their whole personality because it makes them feel that much closer to being a fighter. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
But anyway, you can go to so here's with the tape and the KO swell is I was always selling it on my own, but I was always traveling. So if you ordered, I'd get it to you late and all that. So through a dream, Juan Ramirez from San Diego, Chicano también, he's a cutman.
Simón.
He just opened up Cutman for Hire Supplies. And I called him, I say, Juan, would you be interested in carrying my tape? And I'll help you through your promotions and all that. So yeah, so he's carrying it for me, Cutman for Hire Supplies, and he's the only one. I'm not gonna have nobody else sell it. But Canelo picked up on it. Him and Eddie,
Okay.
and also they
Simón.
picked up on it, and Canelo uses it. Munguia uses it. A lot of these top fighters, especially the amateurs, are starting to use the tape. But I don't give away because I don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
But
You
what
should.
I mean is, yeah. So what happened is, I'll kind of give you a little story. So the war tape that's out there right now, that was designed when I was in the UFC by Ian Dixon, and we did a show in Sacramento, and Ian gave me a roll of his war tape, the first tape that was branded with a name, and I tried and I gave him some examples and suggestions and all that. Anyway, friends that he started off with down the road burned him, and not the people now. Before they burned him, and I said, well, you know what? I ain't gonna put up with that. I'll do my own stuff. So everything I showed them, they do, but not everything that I know is, I give them all the information. So that's how I created Stitch Premium Tape, and that's why I make it exclusive just to one. So Cutman for Hire Supply supported. He has everything for Cutman and trainers, everything.
Really?
So yeah, I would highly recommend going there.
No, definitely,
Awesome,
definitely gonna
man.
check that shit out for sure, man. But,
Definitely. Stitch, right before we leave, I got one question, brother. Again, I hate to take up any of your time. I'm sorry I'm late.
Hey, my wife's gone right now, so I got time. Don't worry about it.
Okay, yeah, no, this will be the last question, I believe. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no,
I apologize. But is there anything
Hold up, Manny. Hold up, Manny.
Okay.
Cruz had a rough round, bro. It's time to take care of this boy.
I see that they beat him up and they turned his hair green, Chica.
Yeah, for real. For real.
La chica.
He's cut.
Hey, no me quites el trabajo, güey.
All right, he's good. Let's go.
Nah, you gotta slap him, man.
See?
Good job.
Oh, yeah, you guys
got
are
the gloves
crazy,
on.
man.
You got the gloves on. You got my respect.
Shit,
go.
good shit. Good
Real quick, Stitch. Is there any advice that you'd like to give a young kid, whether it's a girl, guy, whatever, man, and especially Chicano, but just anybody, because we got a bunch of different viewers of all different races and everything. But a young kid that's like you said, at that line but afraid to cross it. You know what I'm saying? Like what advice? I mean, I know you just dropped some knowledge a little bit ago, but what advice would you give them as far as going after their dreams?
Yeah, it's crossed that line, man. And I realized uh, that these guys that up there that are successful are no different than us. No different. I remember I was listening to a speech by Obama, and Obama said, I learned through going through the system that not everybody is good at what they do. And he goes, just because you go to Harvard, don't make you a smart man. He goes, and I dealt with a lot of presidents and high dignitaries and realized not all of them were smart, so they ain't no different than you, bro. It's just a matter of you having that gana, cross that line and do things the right way. You're on time, you communicate, and iron your clothes. Appearance is everything, bro. And make eye contact.
Okay.
Those are the things that you'll be able to read people. Because I tell these young kids, I went to the gym yesterday, and they want to shake your hands like this. I said, nah. You got to look at my eyes when you shake my hand. Those little things like that will take them a long ways. Because the eyes tell you everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dave, listen, it blows my mind every day that I'm here. You don't think it does? Every day I wake up, I said, shit, I could have been picking tomatoes right now,
Yeah.
But I crossed that line, and crossing the line for me is when I joined the Air Force, and I was scared. I was scared as shit to leave my little town, and that's that line that I crossed, and it changed my whole life. So
awesome.
So, man, that's what's up. What about
That's
you,
cool,
Cruz
man.
and Junior? What you got? Anything else for just before we let him go?
Well, what I want to say is what we just did there, though, it reminded me is like going back to where it's like I've known Stitch for so long as growing up with these two. And it's funny because when Junior used to like give me bats, I'm like 3 years old getting hyped because he's putting lotion on my face after I get out like it's Vaseline. And I'm like, yeah, ready, man. You know what I mean?
That's good. It's good to hear those type of stories behind the scenes that I have a little bit of involvement with, right? But it's good. It's good. I like your technique, Junior. Actually, it's pretty good.
Gracias.
It's una chulada, man.
No, I always study corners, and my kids study corners, and fights that I'm not watching or something. They'll bring it up. You see this cut man with the swab in his nose or in his ear, or you see the cut man rubbing this in his ear. Just
Yeah.
So before I go, I did. Junior, you tell me, because I've done seminars all the time, and I love doing seminars, but my schedule keeps me from doing so many. So about a month ago, I put a video up called "Giving the Fighter One More Round," and it shows everything: how to wrap hands for boxing, wrap hands for MMA, how to work on cuts, how to work on bruising, the medications, everything that I know. I put in a video, and it's only $50. It's not for me to make money; it's for you to learn. But if you want to learn just to wrap hands, let's say for boxing, if you rent it, it's only $10. So you'd be stupid not to, not to say you guys are stupid, but it's done for the people that want to learn how to do things the proper way. And, that's at stitchduran.com.
StitchDuran.com.
Speaking of that, did we get all your media and stuff, Stitch?
Well, I'm at Stitch Duran, so, and then,
I'll get that shit on there.
Cutman for Hire Supplies is my distributor. And then, of course, the video is at stitchduran.com.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I recommend everybody for $50. It's worth the investment.
I'm getting it tonight. I'm getting it tonight.
I'm getting it tonight too.
Yeah, you can buy it for 50 or rent one piece for $10. But
No, we'll get it.
2 weeks. So I saw Seam Rockman's son did a fight 2 weeks ago. And last week I went to the Mayweather gym and he's there and he says, "Hey man, I talked to you, I bought your video, and I've wrapped 15 hands since I saw you last, and it's helped me tremendously."
Wow.
Yeah.
Good shit.
There's no secret to what we do. And that was the old mentality in the old days where I'm taking it to my grave. That don't work no more. I was telling him, Manny, before you came on board, when I was learning to be a cut man, I asked this guy that did a good job, and he told me to F off, that he was going to take it to his grave. And you know, I learned never to be like that about them. You know, teach,
Yeah.
teach, teach, teach. And my legacy is, as I leave and when I retire, is that I made this game safer. You know,
Fuck yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm working with groups now on dementia and long-term illnesses, you know, so kind of giving back, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
What I wanted to say is, recently in my life, I've been on this different journey. Like I've been, like you said, crossing that line or stepping over that line or whatever. But one of the biggest things, like growing up in jobs and just everything I've done, is what you said is where people want to hold back information, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
And I noticed the older I got, I mean, I always look at it like, unfortunately, I saw it a little too late, but it doesn't matter, right? It's never too late. But it's people that hold other people back, and they end up having all the knowledge, but they stay at the bottom while everyone else is climbing. And I noticed, and I was like, you know what, man, you got to teach everyone what you know, and you got to move it forward, and that's what puts you up here instead of you thinking like, well, I'm the only one that knows how to do that, so I'm not gonna say shit. That
right.
keeps me up here, and in reality is dragging you down, it's keeping you down. And it feels really good to hear you say that because it's something
Definitely.
that in the last 2, 3 years of my life, I've been like really thinking about. So
Yeah.
that's awesome, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, there's a saying, because I'm a martial artist before I was a boxer. There's a martial arts saying that, for example, when the student, which is you, does better than the master, which is me, then the master's done their job. So my job is for you to get better than me down the road, and I've done my job. You see what I'm saying? Same with you, you know, and your son, you know, is he has to be better than you, and then you know you've done your job.
Hell yeah, man.
See what I'm saying?
I love it. I love it, man.
Yeah, I love that when the student does better than the master,
Hell yeah.
the master's done his job. It's
Yeah.
badass.
Well, yeah, well let's leave it at that, man. Stitch, don't get off real quick. Like after, I'm just gonna close it off and then just to talk to you un poquito más, after the show, just to all right, guys. Well, fucking give a thumbs up if you know what's up and give a thumbs down if you're down. Peace.
Peace.
Puck's head is a shit!